Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Unveil Paranormal. I hope everybody is having a great February. Welcome, welcome. Tonight we do have a very special guest with us. I'm just going to pull up the comments section here. We are going to take Q&A for my guest tonight, so feel free to put your questions in the comments. I guess it would be this way on my screen in the comment section, and we'll ask. So tonight I have a special guest, a new friend of mine. He is part of Things, the team that I actually am associated with. And his name is Scotty Ninja Smith. Welcome, Scotty.
Hey, everyone. How you doing?
Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Sorry I had to rush home. I just rushed home, got it turned on the computer on just a few minutes ago. So when you got to work, you got to work.
Yeah, so do you go by Scott or Scotty? What do you prefer?
I go by Scott. I've been called worse, and I've been called
Or Ninja.
Or Ninja's usually when we're out on an investigation, whether it's big, what if we're out on something, a big public event or something, people turn around like, where'd he go? And they're like, that's what we call him, what we call him.
Gotcha. So, just so everybody knows who you are, do you want to kind of introduce yourself, let them know kind of what team you're associated with, perhaps, give us a little bit about you.
I can't do that because that would give my background away. No, I'm just teasing. All right, a little bit about me. I'll be 50 in July. I've been dealing with paranormal since growing up, which I thought was a normal thing. The grounds and house I live on, the property I live on, is my family farm. We've dug up Native American artifacts all throughout here. We found belt buckles. We found shoe buckles like you would see on the old, the pioneer stuff. We've had all kinds of artifacts through here and through the property. Myself, I've got a background in electronics, a very high skilled background in martial arts, hence the ninja. That's what Jeremy always laughs about. And I've got two great kids. They're ornery as can be, and they cost me a ton of money because one's in college already, and then the other one's getting ready to start college. So I've got to work all the time. Background in I customize cars for fun, and that's my job. But to me, it's just a hobby. When it becomes a job, then I might have to look for something different for another hobby. But at my age, it'd be just ghost hunting. But that's what I enjoy to do. That's pretty much it. I'm pretty simple, easy to go. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
Awesome. Hey, Jeremy. So, your property is one thing that intrigues me about you, which we've already kind of discussed. But did you say anything about Native American artifacts out there?
Yes.
Do you have anything like that?
Yes.
Okay.
We found tomahawk heads. We found numerous. A 5-gallon bucket full of arrowheads is what we had last.
Wow.
We actually farm it. So we ran, growing up as a farm, it's only 12 acres, but we pulled up, when we disc, we'd actually pull up arrowheads. We found hatchets. We've actually found spearheads still attached to the spear with the leather wrapping.
Oh, wow.
It was interesting. We figured it was a encampment out here. I'm about 5 miles from Eel River Cemetery, where the Miami is. Oh no, not Chrissy. Can we block her out? She's kind of a mean person.
Oh, I love Christy. She's gonna be here the whole time, hopefully.
Yeah, she doesn't like me too much because I tease her too much. Don't ride with her when she's driving because she likes to hit speed bumps.
Oh, I've never had to ride with her yet, so.
She's going to tell me to shut up, I'm sure. But yeah, we have Native American through here. There's times my kids have actually witnessed it. Now I've got my back right now. Of course, patio door is here. We can sit on the couch while we're watching TV, and the kids have noticed it. I've noticed. I have a guest over here that's noticed it before as we're sitting there talking. They think somebody's walking up to the door, and they're there. They'll see a silhouette of somebody going there and look over, and they're gone. Oh, Chrissy told me I had to behave.
There you go. Yeah. Listen, she says.
Oh, man. But yes, there's I've seen it. I got to the point where you'll catch the shadows out of the corner of your eyes. A lot of people, or you're
Okay.
sitting there and you'll see movement across the patio door. And I've got cameras out here all the way around, and cameras have even been tripped for no reason. And
Really?
this morning at 2 o'clock in the morning, the camera lower level got tripped, and it sounded like someone walking. But we also have animals out here, so to
Right.
me, I just put it off. I am very down to earth. Jeremy calls me the master debunker. All I do is I look for the most common sense stuff first before anything's listed as paranormal. Hey, we got noises going on in our room. Well, you got water pipes running through it too, and it's to me, growing up on a farm, you learn what an old house sounds make, and you learn what it is, and that's usually can attribute to everything else at the same point.
So your house, is that kind of what got you into the paranormal? Is that what pulled you into the field, was just growing up in that atmosphere?
I would say yes. My mother is a prayer warrior. She always was when the church. Uh,
Okay.
I grew up in a church, grew up Christian, and mom was a prayer warrior, and that was the biggest thing. Hi, Tammy. She's not going to make it tonight, so she's on to watch the show this way.
Okay.
And
Hi,
she kept
Tammy.
coming up where she couldn't make it. But mom being a prayer warrior, I think also, I don't want to say invoked it, but also the spiritual warfare. And so growing up with that and being part of that and seeing how it was and dealing with it with the different martial arts side as far as like the meditation and that you always do. It's not like, your Karate Kid stuff, but you meditate, try to relax. A lot of people think meditation is this big bad omen. All it is if you're praying, you're meditating, and you're praying. So meditation, you're clearing your mind and listening to what you've got. Your mind has to say to itself.
Right.
It's nothing different, and people always associate that with evil. And it's like all you're doing is relaxing. What do you do at night before you go to bed? You
Right.
cut everything off and try to relax and listen. And
Well,
then
I usually watch YouTube before bed.
I have the TV on all night long, so I can't say I don't. But it's at that point where it's it's you got to do whatever you can to relax, and that's how it goes. That's the same stuff. So I think that's what brought me into. Besides the house, we had incidents here when my dad was alive. When I was young, we had pots and pans hanging up just like you would the old farmhouse.
Yeah.
We're watching TV in the living room, and all of a sudden those pans all started shaking, one at a time. Like someone was walking by, going tink, tink, tink. And it was shortly after his grandfather, so my great grandfather had passed away.
Really?
Yeah, so it was interesting. I just was like, Dad, what are we going to do? And he's like, Oh, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And we sat down here when Mom and my sisters would go to church, like a girls' event at the church. We're watching TV, and the upstairs was unfinished. And we heard the upstairs door open and slam. We thought they were home, and somebody ran across the top and out to the upper deck and opened the patio door up to the deck. And I looked at Dad, and he goes, somebody's not here. So we both went out with shotguns. We live on a farm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, we didn't have them loaded, but the sheer sight of something like that can sometimes deter somebody from being stupid.
Right.
So I went out this patio door that's behind me on my right. I have to think about it. Yeah, on my right here, and come up around and up towards the front of the door, waiting. And down through he opened the door that goes upstairs. And when he did, he heard somebody running across the upstairs, and he thought for sure when they come through that area, the hallway there with the stairwell, he would see them. He didn't see him. The door flew wide open, and I was standing right there, and door slammed shut, and I was like, what the hell? Then Dad come out and goes, who was that? And I was like, there's nobody there, Dad. And so we came back in, sat down. He goes, just ignore it, act like nothing happened. It happened 3 more times that same night. And I looked at him and I said, how are we going to ignore this? And he goes, don't tell your mom. Don't tell her. So, it is what it is. Hey, Chrissy, mind your own business. I can be left unattended.
Oh, Chrissy. So, like you have the guns and you have, probably a lot of relics and stuff there because you probably found stuff on the property. Do you think there's anything that you have that kind of triggers the activity?
Not. I think it's just a property in general.
This
You got,
property.
and you got to. Sorry, I'm in a office chair that reclines way back. I apologize. About to fall out of here. In my opinion, with everything that I've done growing up in life, I haven't done anything to bring anything on me, but with just the backgrounds, um, the prayers, the meditation,
Hmm.
and a lot of people don't understand being empathic with that. And I've seen things, I hear things, I've caught all kinds of things out of the corner of my eyes, dead on straight apparitions. I thought was somebody, and it's
Yeah.
not. In fact, we've had incidents at the shop already, and the other guy enjoys the ghost hunting and everything else, and everybody there at the shop knows what I do. But yesterday, even just yesterday, it was he looked up out of the top of a car. He thought I was standing at the front of the car. I was working in another bay. I wasn't even there. But he was like, "How did you move that fast?" And I was like, "Well," I said, "it is what it is." And I said, "It wasn't me. We had an incident about 3 weeks ago where the cameras shut down in the bay for
Okay.
5 minutes, but we heard somebody actually, hey." And so we both turned around and looked, thinking somebody was standing at the doorway. Nobody was there. And he says, "I'm bringing it in." I tell him it's his fault. He's bringing the shit in. So,
Mhm.
that's what it is. But it's just, you're a beacon. You're a lighthouse. Once they see that you can see them and notice them, it's just like somebody, if you can, let's just say you can speak a foreign language proficiently, and you're in a room full of people that can't speak English, but all of a sudden they hear you say their language. Guess what? Everybody's going to run to you to be a translator.
Right.
I mean, that's the way I look at it, is all. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I love that analogy. I've not heard it like that before. But yeah,
Yeah.
I like that because it's like a translator. It's what you are.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I've learned because I consider myself a medium empath that, I've actually got to the point though where I've been able to shut it down. Do you struggle with that? Are you able to kind of block it out?
I've learned a long time ago to block it out. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was the point where I would walk down. I could walk down, let's say, one of the major retails, Walmart, and if I bumped into, say, you, and you were having a bad day, guess what? I
Mhm.
just now got put in a crappy mood and having a bad day.
Yeah.
So I've learned to shut it down, and I've taught people how to shut it down, and stuff like that, and they just can't believe how easy it is. And it's you hear the mind over matter, and that's exactly what it is. And I
You're
tell
right.
people I don't mind, so it don't matter. But they're like, "Well, that doesn't make sense." I'm like, "Yeah, it does. I don't let it bother me." So I
Right.
mean, that's where it comes down to. Who else is
Yeah.
saying stuff?
Oh, just Jeremy talking smack.
Yeah, Christy in there talking the
Christy
same thing.
agreeing.
Oh my goodness, these guys! I tell you,
These kids. No.
not exactly, but they all want my help. I got Chrissy's car all looking pimped out with her lights and everything. Then she gets pulled
Oh,
over.
really?
Oh yeah, she can't deny it because I was lacing.
Well,
Okay.
we have Japan here and we have Australia here. So welcome, welcome everybody from overseas.
Up there you go. See, I told her and forewarned her. She didn't believe me. She thought I was kidding around. I said, "You're gonna get pulled over, acting dumb." I looked at the old guy.
So does anybody inspire you in this field? You have any oh, sorry about my dog, guys. They do this every show. I don't know what to do about them. Does anybody inspire? Hold that thought. I'm gonna mute myself real quick.
Yep.
Tell. I hope nobody's at my door because this is poor timing, guys.
Anybody that inspires me, I would
Yeah.
say, I started watching Jason from Ghost Hunters was the first one, and watching Ghost Hunters way back in the day when they first came out. But Jason and just Ghost Hunters in general, the original one. But uh, other than that, I don't. I watch Ghost Adventures. I think it's funny. No offense, but it's just anybody's been in this field can see how that goes. And that's just my 2 cents on that. I watched a lot of shows and YouTube videos where people will go out and explore abandoned buildings. It's like, there's guys that will explore abandoned buildings and they record it. And I think that's neat. That's another thing. I'm a big history nerd. I'll say it as history nerd, not just history buff. But I will. I'll go through and some of these older homes. I found abandoned homes that I will go up and check out. Others I won't go up and check out, just knowing that it's too close and there's too many people watching you when you stop at a place and they're like, "Hey, what is he doing?"
Yeah.
I did have a place up in Michigan when I was driving for a company. I was delivering equipment for a company that I noticed this house. I thought it was the coolest house in the world. Stopped, never crossed the property line, but I took a bunch of pictures of it, and a Michigan State Trooper pulls up. And I thought, "Uh-oh, what am I, I'm not on the property." He goes, "Can I ask what you're doing?" I said, "Yeah, I'm taking pictures of this house. I'm into historical homes, the older the homes, just the antiquities and just being the older homes in general always fascinated me, the architecture and everything." It was his grandparents' home. He's like, "Come on, let's
Wow.
go." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Come on." We walked in the house, and of course, the floors were rotted on the first floors, and on that one part of it, but we got around and went upstairs and walked around. I never met this guy. First time, he's a Michigan freaking state cop. I'm thinking, oh, great, here we go. He let me take all the pictures I wanted. They still had some
Wow.
old calendars up there from 1930s. It was still the calendars were still there, and
Wow.
it was pretty cool to really actually just walk around. And I said, "It's just the old homes." He goes, "Well, my kids think the place is haunted." I'm like, "It could be, but hey, I ain't worried about it. I'm having fun. This
Yeah.
is." But that's I just enjoy the history side of a lot of stuff too. I don't look for everything paranormal. Even while we were out at in Salina, Kansas, at the temple, I was asking people around there where some of the places are, and they're like, "Well, they got a rock. They call it Indian Rock Park." And then one
Okay.
guy goes, "It's not haunted." I'm like, "I don't care if it's haunted or not. It's part of history. I want to go see it."
Right.
And that was more of the side of me that I wanted to see it. I mean, there's a lot of places. Oh, Irene says hi. I don't. Are you talking to me, Irene? Sorry.
You're her pal.
I guess. I apologize. How you doing? But you know, I'll go to older buildings and I'll walk in. I'll look at the architecture, the design of the building, the way everything was done. There's some buildings
Yeah.
here in Fort Wayne that I've been into, homes that they have one place has a wall hand carved. It's 12-foot long by
Really?
8 foot tall, hand carved wall, and he the lady wanted to get rid of the wall. I'm like, "Ma'am, do you understand that's probably a $30,000 wall at minimum?" It was signed 1898. The guy had carved
Wow.
and everything into it. Scott impressed me. Oh,
That's what I was trying to share, but then something else popped up. I'm a bit inspired too myself. I love, like, it's so funny because I just love old buildings too and stuff like that. And if I was brave enough to just go on random properties, I would, but I'm not brave enough, so I always feel like I have to have permission.
well, look at me and look at I look like. I mean, most people don't want to take 2 seconds afterwards and holler at me, but I always try to ask permission. I've worked with a
Right.
lot of the agencies and that stuff over the years, and I've got a lot of connections inside. And a lot of times I'll make a phone call. "Hey, look, is this? Nope, it's abandoned. Don't worry about it." I'm like, "All right." So away I
Yeah.
and then it's usually call me when you get done, so I know you're all right. I'm like, "I guess so, Mom." I always do.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Shut up. We're gonna come out and arrest you." I was like, "That's fine. I don't care."
So when you actually go investigating, like when you're at the haunted location, say just like a public location or something like that, not like a residential, what do you usually use as a tool? Because I know that you like to debunk stuff, but I also know that you're a empath also. So you kind of got a bunch of different spectrums going on. So what is your main way of investigating? Do you usually stick to tools, like not yourself, but like I always call myself a tool when I do the medium stuff, but like gadgets, or what do you usually
I've
do?
got I've got a EMF detector. I did buy while we were out in Salina a great what's that called now? Well, I think it's an EMF, actually a Slimer EMF detector. I've got that, and I'll take a flashlight, but a lot of times I just walk around and feel the building. and I'll feel the location out, and you could pick up on it. You being how you are, you understand it. And I've got people that are new in the field have gone out with me, and they're like, "Oh my God!" And I won't say nothing. I just let them express what they're feeling, and I won't, I don't lead them on. I don't have because I know there's other. I've been with other groups where like, "Oh my God, did you feel like? Oh, you got to feel." It's just like, no, you need to
Right.
quit playing. It's. Yeah, but a lot of times I don't really have a lot of tools. I'll take a recorder with me. I used to take a camera and be all loaded up, look like
Yeah.
I'm going out for a Mission Impossible, and I'm like, I need a flashlight so I don't fall down and hurt myself, or some kind of light. I'll usually that, or I'll use my phone as a recorder. Sometimes I'll do that, or I'll have a handheld digital recorder. But a lot of times that's it, and a flashlight. But I walk around and feel the building. I enjoy seeing stuff if I see it or hear it versus trying
Right.
to catch it. And I know that doesn't help the field be like, hey, we got to research. Well, yeah, well, I didn't catch shit. So I seen it, heard it, but I didn't catch it on any other thing else. And unlike some of these other shows that everything's demonic and dark and this and that, the other, you're just a
Right.
moron, and that's not how it goes.
No, it's
Now,
not.
you're not running into that stuff at times, which we've all done it, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you almost need like you don't want to have too many people on an investigation, but you want to have enough where you can, if you have to capture it, you at least have that one person that loves their gadgets,
Yeah,
So
that
and
was
they
the
need to be there for that, and then you get to do your own thing.
yeah. And Chris, you talked about the Confederate cemetery. Yes, that was unbelievable, and that's um, we got when we were there. It was during like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We were down at Waverly for the 2 nights,
Okay.
and the things social, all the people who were having their shows went first. So Tammy and I are sitting there, and Chrissy, Corey, and Dina, I believe. I'm terrible with names, so Chrissy's going to make fun of me on it, but that's fine.
Dina. Yep. I bet I'm assuming it's Dina.
We were all sitting outside, and Tammy had found the Confederate cemetery. And I said, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And I'm like, Chrissy looked around, normal smart mouth Chrissy is, and she goes, "Oh, it's Carol. Sorry, thank you.
Carol.
I told you I'd mess it up."
I was
But
gonna say I know Dina that she's associated to.
well, Chrissy turned around and was like, "What's it matter to you?" I said, "Well, we're going to the Confederate cemetery. You can either sit here and be a lump on a log, or you roll with us." And that's we followed them over there, and Chrissy hit the speed bumps and sent Corey out through the sunroof almost twice. And yeah, Chrissy, quit laughing. I know you're laughing right now because they put speed bumps in the middle of this road for God
Yeah.
knows why. And the first one she hit, the whole front of her butt end of her car come flying forward, and
Oh
that actually on my camera on my truck. And I played it back to her the one time. I don't have it saved anymore, but it was quite funny. And then we got into the actual cemetery, and this is probably 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's not dark out by any means. And so we walked to the Confederate side, and what was weird, you got a Confederate cemetery in Kentucky. As far as with being a Union state and everything at that point.
no.
And we were walking. Corey was doing EVP checks, and we were walking around and just doing stuff. So we all got back we're sitting and standing by the vehicles talking, and Corey was catching something coming in and out of the tombstones, actually like hiding, lurking and almost trying to crawl up to us without being caught on his thermal. Tammy actually was seeing it and stuff, and she wasn't saying anything to us. She was just watching it, quietly sitting there watching it as we're talking. And finally, Chris, she broke it and said, "We got to go to Waffle House. I'm starving," which was good because we all were doing. But when Corey was
Yeah.
catching up, we were talking about it, and we backed off and we told thank you and we left. And then, of course, the Waffle House was a whole other story where Chrissy upset the waiter. Let's just put it that way. She was very Chrissy to the waiter. Actually, this waiter was probably stoned out on about 9 different drugs. He
Oh,
thought
really?
when he
Yeah.
could get a glass of water and not spill it. We were doing our best not to laugh at this kid. We felt bad for him, but we were doing everything we could not to laugh. Chrissy, you were too. Don't let her fool you. It's my side of the story right now. But But that was that was how we all really got to be good friends, was just sitting there talking, visiting, getting to know each other, and then just
Yeah.
screwing around and having a good time.
Right.
And then with going to Waverly the next night, that was where Scott had got his son, and he posted on 13th Dimension Aiden doing the Karate Kid stance because I scared him so bad. He didn't
Oh,
know which way to go, and he just went straight up in the air and started kicking and flailing. And it looked like a fish out of water. Yeah, yeah. If you look down at Chris, that was true because I looked right over and she looked at Corey and I both, and she goes, "How are you guys having a straight face?" And it's like, it takes talent. But all the women were almost had tears rolling out of their eyes, and Corey and I did too. But we were trying not to laugh at this kid directly. So it was definitely a memorial or a memory down there going down, and we want to go to Waverly Hill again. And now every time we see Waffle House, Tanny and I start laughing about it. So we've talked about taking a trip to Anderson and having everybody meet up down there, but we probably won't get the classic kid we had. Your dog's done running around?
yeah. Actually, you can hear them. Hear that tap tap tap.
Yeah.
So they're like about to start a fight, like play fight. Like they decided to bug me in the middle of the show. That's why I hear all the tapping. That's why I keep muting myself. So I do apologize.
It doesn't to me. It sounds like two kids back here. I figured it was your dogs roughing around. So
it is two of my kids. I mean, my fur babies.
There you go.
So,
I get it. I understand.
yeah. So they're just standing there now, looking at me, waiting me.
You're talking
They're
about
like, "What do you do?" I'm talking about them. I'm ignoring them.
Yep, that's how it is.
So, how long would you say you've been investigating, like actually investigating for like since you were a kid?
When you're a teenager, you run out to all the abandoned places and try to
Right.
get your thrill. You know that was what everybody did. You know,
Right.
I would say serious investigation where it really started sinking in, and where I was probably 22. And,
Okay.
And I'm old before anybody says it. So, yeah.
You already said how old you were earlier. So.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I always joke around with people like, "You're what?" You know, people have told me I'm 60, and I'm like, "No, that's fighting words. I'm not that old."
Yeah. No. You've been doing this for a while. Do you still have a location you still want to investigate that you haven't had a chance to?
Well, you hear all the big name investigations. You know, the big places. You know, the penitentiaries. You know, the not Madison. I'm sorry, Mansfield.
Yeah.
My buddy, who also is my boss, we do Cedar Point and Kings Island trip on our days off. We'll take off and go down to one of the theme parks. And we decided we're going to do both parks in one day. So we drove down to Kings Island in the morning. We left at 5 a.m., went down there, rode all the rides twice. And then on our way through, he goes, "Have you ever been over to Mansfield?" I'm like, "No." So we drove over to Mansfield because it was on the way to Cedar Point. So we drove over there and actually got out and looked around the place. It was closed at the time, but I said, I'm going to have to come back here at some point and go investigate. And I've got one of our general manager. He is a professional model, and they do a lot of the more of the horror shoots and stuff. And he's been in Mansfield several times. He's like, "Man, you got to come down there." His photographer has asked me to come down while they're doing a shoot. He's like, "You can come down and investigate and tell us what we're hearing." I'm like, "You're hearing prisoners. That's all there is." I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. But
Right.
they're doing their investigate or they're doing their modeling shoots and stuff.
Yeah.
Setting up the horror, and they actually get activity. The photographers caught stuff on camera in the background that blew him out of the water that he did not realize.
Really?
There's people, and they've taken pictures where they've set a scene up, and then in the background there's something there, like a figure standing there that should not have been there at all. It's not a shadow or anything, but it's because they do the more of the dark lighting and stuff versus like bright, your normal photography light. It's always the darker images, but they picked up stuff like that before. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Jeremy's planning a trip down. We're all planning a trip down there, and going to go at least one time. So I think it'll be a good time.
Yeah, I am anticipating it. I've not been to Mansfield either, so I'm excited too.
I've been, driving by it, the new prison. You got the original one, which was the haunted location, and then you got the new
Yeah.
prison on the other side, which that's kind of creepy in a way because it's only the what do you want to call it, the yards butt up right next to each other.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So they build it part of the way with the old fencing, and it's kind of it really for a history side of it, it's intense because it's
Yeah.
like you're walking up to a castle. I mean, it's got that ambience to it that you're walking into a castle and it ain't good. So
Wow. Yeah, that's gonna be exciting.
yeah, I think it will be.
So so what would you say has probably been your favorite location you have got to investigate then?
Well, we got local ones here that are really enjoyable. Eel River Cemetery, that was a site of a battleground right on the other side of the cemetery. Everybody thought it was where the cemetery was. It's not. It's across the street in a field. Um, oh Lord, here we go.
I love Waffle House, so I want to come too.
We'll have to everybody get together and carpool down. So
Yeah.
we got Eel River Cemetery local here that I enjoy. I've had a lot of things happen in there, seen a lot of things, and you can feel when it's changing. And when I say that, you'll get in there, say 9, 10 o'clock at night, kind of get set up and walk the cemetery. There's two of them. There's one on Riverview, and then there's one on, the Eel River. And now Riverview used to be basically we always called the safe haven. So when Eel River would really get kicked up, you'd back out and go over Eel or the Riverview and calm down and relax a little bit. But it it's not that anymore. Both sides are very, very active all the way through.
I've never been to Eel River, so that's
You definitely have a good time there.
yeah.
You know, we've been there at times where you can actually stand there and see the changes coming. You'll see shadows moving through. A lot of people who've never experienced will see shadows passing and hiding behind tombstones, and then they'll change as they come closer to you, and you can feel it in the air too.
I agree with Tammy.
It's warm enough now. It's perfect weather. I don't know. I always have to tease her because she's always cold, and this is my favorite weather right now.
Oh, is it? Oh, I hate winter. Ugh. Ugh. Winter sucks.
Keeps me busy at work. So.
Oh, well, yeah, probably. Well, that's really cool. Do you have any pet peeves in the paranormal field? Like anything that you suggest people stop doing?
Chrissy?
I always find this question funny because everybody's different, but then some are the same. So,
Oh, Chrissy. Chrissy is the biggest pet peeve. She's mean to everybody.
Chrissy, Chrissy cannot be a pet peeve. Like I don't know anybody that does not like that girl.
She's a good person. I have to tease her. This is how I get along with a lot of people. We always blow crap to each other all the way through and have fun with it. Nothing's taken out of context. Everybody laughs and have fun. Mm-hmm. My pet peeve, some people will say, or my personal one, it's you get fakes in the field. Hey, we're new here. Can you show us what to do? Oh my God, look at that! I'm like, yeah, it's a wind blowing. Who cares? They absolutely flip out, and it's like, why don't you just go home, have a great night? You're good.
Just go home.
Yeah, it's like goodbye, get out of here. You're wasting my time. Or I've been on some where we had the criers. Oh my God, something touched me. It's like no, they didn't. We're not even. I've taken people to places on purpose that was not haunted at all, just to feel them out. And you got the criers, and you got the, oh my God, this place is so crazy. It's like, what are you talking about? There's nothing in here. It's a blank, empty building. There's nothing in this whole place. But we'll lead it up. You'll see how they want to feel. We heard some stuff. And we wanted to see. Oh my God, yeah, somebody got killed here. It's like, no, they didn't. It's like, it does not. That's my biggest pet peeve is just the fakes. Now, some people will tell, they get mad at me because, as I told you earlier before we started, Jeremy calls me the prankster. And if anybody's been in this field long enough and understands, how many times would the spirit want to come up and go, "What is your name?" Oh, I'd be telling the people, "Shut the hell up and get out of here." You're boring me. But you got to have some fun in it. It depends on the location and what's happening. If
Right.
it's kind of been kicked up and we got a lot of activity going, would you rather have people that clown around and have a good time, or the monotonous, "What year is it? What is your name? Who's the president?" You can ask those questions, but don't be
Right.
so blunt, blah about it. Have some, "Hey, who's the president right now? What are they doing to, help you out or not?" Stuff like that. And you can tell, your different locations. I've played music on my phone from the eras. Sometimes
Yeah.
that keeps it up. I've tried to find the presidents from the eras and just, like speeches or something like that where it's recorded. Just something for the era to bring them out, if that makes sense. To
Yeah.
have, like I said, ask me for my pet peeve. The first one was Chrissy because she's so mean to me. And and then the other one's just the fakes in general.
Yeah.
But it also, I've had people get mad at me because I'm myself, and all of a sudden activity kicks up when you start goofing off, having fun, and laughing and having a good time. Because you're going into a party, you want people all sit around the couch looking at you, staring at you. "Hey, how are you?" Or, "Hey, what's going on?" Come on, join the party.
Right.
I look at it as how I want to be greeted when I walk into somebody's house. So I'll greet them just the same way. If we're out of the location, you greet the spirit. There were people at one point in time in the story. That's the way I
Right.
look at it. You can't treat them like, "Well, yeah, you're dead, so you don't mean shit." Excuse my language, but
Yeah. No, you can't treat them like that.
no, you passed on. What's your story? I want to hear it. I'm interested in it, and
Right.
then you get some of the best results that way. It really is.
Yeah, for sure. You have to be like down to earth talking with them, And you have to have somewhat, it's kind of weird when you're an empath or a sensitive to the spirit. I almost feel like you have to have a little bit of people skills because each I know you said you're an empath, but I'm just guessing that since you see spirits and stuff like that too, you're a little bit of a medium. And so
Extra large. So
huh?
I said extra large. I can't wear a medium. That really looks
So
bad.
you realize when you're connecting with the deceased that they have different personalities and stuff. So you have to kind of just like you would with people in real life, you kind of have to change your dialogue and stuff a little bit for them. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree.
So
If you
yeah.
met me in real life, you won't. I don't have a change dialogue. Anybody on here in the chat room can tell you that. I'm just a mean person. That's what they tell me.
I'll have to see. Whenever we get to investigate together, I'll see how mean you are.
All right, well, just ask everybody that's in the chat. They can tell you.
Guys, is he mean? That reminds me in the chat, guys, I did say you could ask questions if you want to ask Scott anything.
No, don't.
I mean,
Chrissy's going to have all kinds of questions I cannot answer. Yep, see, Jeremy said that right there.
feel free to ask questions to him, unless you're just going to be mean to him. Don't be mean to my guest. This is a safe space. What?
I said they probably say he deserves it and he'd get ready for it. Nobody's asking. Are you guys too scared to ask questions?
I think they are scared of you. I think this is the longest we've gone without somebody asking a question. I think they're scared. They already know you. Yeah, most of the people watching probably know you. That's why they're here. They're here to support. So what do you think about, because I know you do the paranormal stuff, what about beyond just ghosts? Do you believe in aliens or cryptids or anything like that? I'm always curious if people are more of a spectrum. Yeah.
I honestly, the world's too small not to have, let's just say, aliens.
Yeah.
If you think that Mother Earth is it in this huge universe, in my opinion, you got something wrong. There's too many. There's there've got to be other life forms out here. So I would believe in that. I haven't seen personally anything like that, but I'm not going to discount it at all. Cryptids, yeah, they're definitely some weird shit because if you look up Cherubusco, Indiana, there's a huge cryptid, well known worldwide. It's Oscar the Turtle. If you look it up, that's why Cherubusco is called Turtle Town, USA.
I thought that was just like a mascot or something.
No, well, he's a mascot of the town, but that
Yeah,
pond is 4 miles from my house.
really.
Yes.
So I don't know the history. Is it like a gigantic turtle or what is it?
That's what they claim that. I'm going to get the years wrong. I think it was in the early 40s. Guys were up on their barn, roofing the barn, and they looked out in the lake and they seen this huge turtle out there. The way they described it, its back was the size of a dinner table. Now you have to think back in the 40s,
Yeah.
dinner table sat 10 people.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And they said the head of it that was sticking up above the water was that of a child. So
Wow.
a child's head, let's just say a bowling ball in a way, depends on how big your head is, I guess.
Yeah.
They would find tracks around the farm. He would come out in the morning. Animals were missing. He'd find tracks around the barn.
Wow.
Huge, just implanted tracks of some sort. He couldn't figure it out. So they dredged the lake. They had it down within an acre, and he had a heart attack and went in the hospital. And by that time, it filled back up. But it made world news. They had divers
Wow.
in. The government sent divers in, and that was when the divers used the old steel or the headsets where they dropped in and all the weighted brass headsets, and they sunk to the bottom. The bottom of the lake
Okay.
is muck. The guy went in and he started tugging because he was sinking in. He had
Oh.
sunk up to his chest and was still sinking before they pulled him back up. So
Oh wow.
the bottom of the lake is just sandy and muck, and that's most of the lakes around here and swamps around here are muck. And we always call
Right.
them those lakes for a reason. We have one on the backside of my property that when Dad and I would go back there, we took a cinder block with 25 foot of rope on it, and we threw it in there. Now, if you looked across the water, the ground looked 2 foot. The bottom of the pond, the swamp, basically, is what it only looked 2 foot deep.
Wow.
So you'd look in there, and it looked like you could walk right in it and not worry about it. At
Right.
25 foot of rope, that cinder block it disappeared, and the rope went under the ground. We've never seen it, so we don't know how deep it is back there.
Oh
I
my
always
God.
tease my niece and I tease my daughter and the kids. I said, if you ever get a boyfriend that treats you wrong, you let me know and I'll make them disappear. We always clown around about it, but my nieces are married, good guys.
Yeah.
He's a serviceman and he also knows how to treat them right, treat her right. And, the other one's marrying a guy that my daughter, she's not dating yet because she's scared, she's scared to bring him around me. I don't know why. I just,
Well.
maybe I'm a little overprotective of the kids. I don't know. Maybe people
Nah.
around. Maybe I don't know.
Chrissy does have a question for you. She's asking what your favorite paranormal show is.
Me when I look in the mirror every day. Okay, that's terrible. Honestly, I really enjoy the Destination Fear because they've been to a lot of places. I enjoy Ghost Hunters, the new one, even versus the old one, not the one not the remake from. Well, the remake was good too. I just enjoyed seeing the Ghost Hunters, I would say. And then, Destination Fear, I actually talked to them at DeadCon, and I also talked to uh, Ghost Hunters. And what really threw me for a loop, my son was standing right there when it happened. I was talking to, oh crap, Dave and Tango,
Yeah.
talking with them, just introduced myself, and I had my Thing shirt on. And the Thing shirt is always, the name's on the left hand side or the left hand side of the shirt. Jason actually come up, and tapped Dave on his shoulder, and said, "Hey, you know who that guy is?" And he goes, "What?" And he goes, "You know," or it was Steve, not Dave. It was Steve and Dave. I'm sorry, I had him wrong. He tapped Steve on his shoulder. Goes, "You know who that guy is?" He goes, "He's with the Things group." And he goes, "No, that's Scott." He goes, "Oh, well, I've seen you before." I'm like, "Huh?" To have somebody do that to me, I was like, my son
Yeah.
me goes, "Man, Dad, I guess I've got a celebrity I'm walking around with." My son's got the same uh, comic relief. Let's put it that way. He's even better than I am. But
Yeah.
same less comments. But so then when he went up to meet Destination Fear, he thought it was cool because his name's Tanner and there's a Tanner in there. So they're
Oh,
like,
really?
"You're having two Tanners." I'm like, "No, one is enough. You guys can keep this one. You guys can have two." But they're both very friendly to talk to, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed to talk to the guys from Destination Fear. I talked to them about Randolph County.
Okay.
Chelsea, she was down in the tunnels there. I said, "How'd you like it?" She goes, "That scared me so bad." I said, "Did you see the shadow figure? Did you guys?" They were talking to me about stuff that we've all experienced there
Right.
that wasn't on the show, and that
Right.
gave solidarity to a lot of the stuff that we witnessed on that point and some of that stuff. So those are the shows, and when you could put a finger on it, and really say, this is a show I enjoy watching. A lot of them, you laugh at some of the stuff, the way they act, and but also they do, they try to really do a lot of the debunking and find out what legit is going on with it, and that's what I think is really cool about it. See, I've been talking so much you can't even say nothing. Look at that.
Well, though, I don't watch a lot of paranormal shows, which has always been kind of weird for somebody in this field, I guess. Um, I just never got into them. I've tried to watch, Ghost Hunters, which I liked. I tried to watch, what's the other one? Oh my God, what's the guy's name? The crazy guy.
Ghost Adventures.
Ghost Adventures. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Um, I
I
find that hilarious, that one. But I mean, at least he's somewhat good to look at. I mean, he's got that going for himself, and that's about it.
Okay, whatever.
I mean, that's a reason to watch, right?
I,
But anyways, yeah.
probably.
What's that?
I said for you to watch, probably.
Yeah. I mean,
Watch.
I really like Dead Files, but nobody ever talks about that show. So I don't know if people just don't like that show or what it is.
I've watched a lot of it, and um, I've actually talked to people who actually talked with Amy, the lady
Yeah.
that did it, and one Jeremy and I actually talked to. They were in Warsaw when we were speaking with them about doing an investigation at one of the buildings up there, and they had met Amy, and they said that they walked into the elevator with her, and she's talking to somebody, and they're like, "Well, hey, how?" And she goes, "I'm having a conversation." Real weird, but you can
Wow.
see that with. I mean, I know she definitely does what she does,
Hmm.
but and I've watched the show off and on, but some of that stuff is just like, okay, this chick's way out there, way out in left field, and that's not. I shouldn't judge, but you asked my opinion on it.
No,
So
I know. I
I'm
don't
not
mind.
trying to be mean. I just think everybody that's going out in front of a camera and doing this stuff and is doing what they're doing and enjoys it, you can't
Yeah.
knock them for it. Really, you
True.
can't. I mean,
True. Yeah.
we're all on podcasts. We're not out there, but this gets probably out farther than their shows do. If you think about it, everybody can get on the computer and watch it with no problem.
Yeah, it's kind of scary how far these little shows can get. You don't
Exactly.
think it's going to get that far, but hey, we still come here. We still are here to educate and share our stories, and they can judge us how they want. I've already been in that place where I've received criticism for what I do, so I totally understand.
I've got big shoulders and I let it roll off. I don't, hey, you got
Yeah,
your opinion, I've got mine. There's the door.
right.
You can make it. I don't need to hear it. But yes, that to say the least is interesting. Yeah, we've met some I'd call them strange, not so much interesting. People have got some stories out there that make you like, okay, have a great day. We got my phone's ringing. Well, your phone's off. No, it's ringing. I can feel it. It's on vibrate. I got to go. Yes.
Awesome.
We,
So, go ahead.
I was going to say, Jeremy and I try to. I know just for a fact when Jeremy and I, we try to listen to everybody. You don't want to. These people might be legitimately having some problems. Hey, Chrissy, quit kissing butt.
She's got my bag.
But
I wouldn't want anybody else that got my bag but her.
But you get out there and you don't want to discount these people. You want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
Now, some of the stuff that they come up with. Well, yeah, I was sitting on my couch and I started flying around the room.
How? What?
Can you? No, don't even explain it. Or they come, well, we had a long night of drinking, and it's like, okay, stop right there. I've gone on an investigation with another team to a residential. They were having issues. Walked in, there was a pile of marijuana sitting on the table.
Right.
Rolled up. Hey, you guys should all have one. We'll see what we got going on. I'm like, no, this shit's done. We're out. And I backed everybody out, and we walked out. And they're like, what? Are you scared? I was like, no, we don't deal with this stuff. You're dealing with illicit drugs and everything. It's not going to be fun.
Right. And I will say this, since we're talking about that, I know there are investigators out there who do prefer to get high beforehand, who do prefer to drink beforehand. I don't support that because I know that I'm sorry to say this, but drugs, alcohol, stuff can change the outcome of what you're going to experience. And I just think it's not okay. But don't hate me, guys. You got to go in sober. You just got to.
You have to, because you can actually get hurt worse being under the influence of something.
Right.
Yeah, I think I've ruined some of Jeremy's investigations. I've done exactly what he says. We'll pull up the property. I'm like, there ain't nothing here. He's like, you don't know that? I'm like, yes, there ain't nothing here, but we'll still walk in for the thrill of it and have fun. We'll just humor everyone.
Have you ever been proven differently when you automatically didn't feel like anything was there, but then something happened?
No, I honestly could say no. I don't. I just I'll pull up to location. I'm like the one I was telling you about where Jeremy decided to start calling me Ninja after I snuck up on him and Ricky and made them both wet their pants. When we pulled up to that location, Tammy and I had showed up because I had gotten off work. Go figure. It's Saturday night, and I'm only one in the group that works on Saturdays late. We pulled up to the location, and I looked at her. I'm like, this isn't the house. She looks at me and goes, what do you mean? I said, it's this house over here, and older guy's over here. We went in, talked to him. We did our thing. As we're sitting there talking to the couple, I said, what's up with your neighbor here? Well, he is into trains really heavy. His dad owned the house, and he's very elderly, and he's still in the trains in his whole basement. I said, well, I hate to tell you, there's nothing here at your house. It's next door. And they're like, well, we'll have to talk to him about it, but we've never heard nothing back from him. I just go off of gut feeling. It's like when you walk into a crowd. You walk in the crowd, you don't know anybody, but something pops or draws you to one location or the other. Does that make sense? One area. You walk into a building. Oh, this place over here is haunted. It's like, no, they're over here in this room. You get that. You go off your I hate to say your feeling, but it's, before I go in, I usually before I go to an investigation, whether it's residential, that's a big one, just the building, I'll take a week for that and start praying and meditating about the place. Not about it, but just in general to give me my outcome that I need to deal with. And there's a lot of times I won't even go. I'll tell Jeremy, like, this is a bust. Don't even waste your time. There's a place down in Ohio we went that everybody swore the place was crazy, going active, and it ends up, I said, I didn't have to go down there. I said, this is what's going on. The washer and dryer's got a leaky, it's making noises through the water lines, and sure as shit, that's what it was. Jeremy's like, how the hell did you know this? I'm like, just something told me, don't waste my time driving down there. And I try not
Right.
to, like I said earlier, we try to listen to everybody, but there's some things off the wall. We had a guy call at one time, say he had aliens coming out of his butt. And we're like, yeah, bye, click.
What?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That was when Tim Coomer. They
Hmm.
him. They kind of filtered the call, and they were telling us about that. And they were like, "Nope." Jeremy's like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "Nope. I ain't wasting my time on that thing. This guy is definitely he's out there." And he was talking about how he was a user, and it was like, "Nope, sorry, not interested." If I hear that they're, that's the first question I ask. You do anything illegal? What
Right.
What do you mean? Drugs, alcohol? Because you're not 21 yet. Well, we all drink. It's like, yeah, well, I understand that, but when did you experience this? While you were sober or while you were under an influence?
Right.
And a lot of people tell me when they meet me, they think I'm a cop. Jeremy knows me, and a lot of people will tell me that they appear, they think I'm a cop of some sort. I'm in the military or security, and it's just, I think it's with being a martial arts since I was 13 years old up until still practicing. It's just the way I hold myself in that. But I've got people that'll actually like, who's a cop over there? Like, who are you talking about? I get it at work too when I come out of the back. People think, you know, okay, to straighten up real quick, not cause so much problems. And it's just kind of like, I'm just grabbing the stuff I need and going back to work. Leave me alone.
Right. Maybe you have that authority energy about you, you know?
I could, Tammy says that. Her boys say that too. Some of
Yeah.
Tammy's friends have said that. Does he work for security or military? And I was like, huh, nope, it's just him. It's just the way he is. And I have a good time, but I'm also everybody thinks I'm a stick in the mud, so that's fine.
Gotcha.
They leave me alone that way. So
It's true. It's a way to get left alone. He's
what?
bomb decking out cars. Here, this is for you. Shout out.
That's you're just trying to kiss ass so I can fix it so you don't get pulled over by the cops anymore. It's called turn it off. Power switch.
Well, Scott, I do want to thank you so much for joining me tonight for tonight's show and answering the one question from the audience and my questions. Appreciate it. I do think, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say thank you, everybody that had jumped on here today and joined us in our little conversation here. Now, what were we going to say, Scott?
I was going to say, hopefully, I didn't ruin your show and make your ratings go in the toilet because I was on here.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, I'm only allowed an hour because she said she was scared. You must.
I did not say that.
See, now you're getting to know the real me, and that's you got to have fun no matter what. So,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if anybody else, if anybody wants to talk to me, you can find me through things. That's the easiest way to find me. You'll find me somehow, or through Jeremy, or the show. You'll pop up, and if you can find me, you're doing better than I am because I can't find myself half the time.
I can't tag you for some reason, so I don't know.
There's a reason for that. Look
at
the middle name right there.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm an old hermit is what I am.
Gotcha. Much love to you too, Christy. Thanks, Jeremy, for stopping in. Thank you, Tammy, for coming. Once again, if you want to get a hold of Scott, hold him through things. And if you want to see more of Unveil, the links are in the description as always. And thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Here. All right.